Bertie.
Money! It's time for the show!
Belfast North. Belfast North. Belfast North talks music. So it does.
Here we go.
It really does.
Belfast North. Belfast North.
Are you
Belfast North talks music.
Well done.
Hello, this is Paul Kane here again. A very warm welcome to this week's show. We've got something very special this week. The show is dedicated to religious music, both popular and classical.
Belfast North.
Johnny.
Belfast North. Belfast North talks music.
Johnny, you're getting Johnny. No.
We have some very beautiful pieces of music for you today. We'll be both playing and talking about three of probably the greatest hymns ever written that have crossed over from worship to mainstream culture. We'll also have two of the most memorable pieces from the classical world, which are truly divine. As in previous weeks, we'll hear more from the good people at CLARE and listen to some insightful words written up by Amanda Ferguson. But first, as always, here's our catchphrase for this week.
Here, where did that catchphrase come from?
Where did that catchphrase come from?
Where did that catchphrase come from?
We don't know.
So let's start the ball rolling with the catchphrase for this week, which is,
I don't believe it.
and let's hear that again.
I don't believe it.
I think you know the drill by now. Stay with us and we'll let you know who said that famous catchphrase right at the end of the show. The first piece we have today is Ave Maria. This is a popular and much recorded setting of the Latin prayer Ave Maria, which was originally published in 1853 as Méditation sur le premier prélude de piano de S. Bach. The piece consists of a melody by the French Romantic composer Charles Gounod that he superimposed over only a very slightly changed version of Bach's Prelude No. 1 in C major, BWV 846 from Book 1 of his Well-Tempered Clavier, published in 1722. It was published with a French text in 1853, but it was the 1859 version with the Latin Ave Maria which became the most popular. Sung by Camerata Budapest, Ingrid Kotierse, and Laszlo Kovacs. And now, another one of our stories from North Belfast. This piece was written by Amanda Ferguson, narrated by Robert Thomas Kane.
A love of books and stamp collecting has kept retired civil servant occupied during COVID-19 lockdown life. The 84-year-old from the New Lodge area of the city has been living in the Cliftonville area for the last 13 years because the old family house was too big for one. Hilary said at the start of the first lockdown there was more of a community-based response, but that it is not as prevalent as it was because the community spirit built up has turned into selfishness, which is unfortunate. Hilary has been housebound for quite some time and says if mobility allowed, he would love to walk over Cave Hill. If only I could do that now, he said. My advice to others would be, don't waste time. I admire these backpackers who travel over the world. I say, good luck to them. Do it while you can. Hilary says he's not too bad and is holding together. I had an accident about 3 years ago. I fractured my eye socket, so I can't really be out on my own. I haven't got my confidence back. Hilary's love of books, which comes from both sides of his family, helps him. When COVID-19 entered our lives in early 2020, it didn't really concern me. It just meant my family couldn't come and see me as often, he said. It has been a bit more restricting, but I have my books and TV. They keep me happy. Surrounded by books, bookcases are a project in progress for Hilary. Hilary also likes history magazines, photography, and watching nature and art history programs. Over a breakfast of toast with marmalade, porridge with honey, and coffee, Hilary listens to Classic FM in the morning and settles down into the day. Stamp collecting, continuing from his school days, keeps Hilary occupied as well. I specialise in GB commemoratives. I have all the issues from when they started, and the latest one, King Arthur, a few days ago. Hilary's carers also come into his home 4 times a day. Hilary was pleased to be vaccinated against COVID and believes the pandemic is going to change everything in general. It's going to be a new normality, Hilary said. It's never going to be the same. Hilary expresses concern for the older people who already had mental health challenges pre-pandemic. Before the COVID started, anyone who was really depressed didn't have much of a playing field to work on, so all this has probably made people feel even more depressed. It's very much your own ideas about things. I think some people adjust quicker than others. I had been used to just being housebound, so it didn't make much of a difference to me. The phone has been useful for communicating, and using Zoom on a new tablet is the new venture for Hilary in lockdown. I'm looking forward to contacting friends and relations, he said. On whether Hilary follows COVID updates on the news, the answer is yes and no. It gets a bit depressing after a while. I think that they're rushing to get everybody out. They will go mad and not observe social distancing. I would like services to get back to normal and for the GP surgery to be easier to get through to. He has advice for others in the same position as himself regards not being able to get out and about. If you are housebound, try and look on the bright side of things. Look at the positive. Old age is a physical thing, but it can be a mental thing. It can be worse if you have more or less given up. On embracing retirement, Hilary added, retirement was a new life to me entirely, a new beginning. I had a new approach. I knew people who became completely lost. It is important to try and look on the positive. Don't let the problems take over your life. Get a solution. Figure it out. Life post Good Friday Agreement meant there was a new atmosphere in Belfast and it was blossoming into a modern city. But the global recession impacted people, shifted them online, and then the pandemic came along. It has just about finished everything. I haven't been in the centre of town for a long time, but it's practically wilderness. I hope we do get out the other side of all this and can rebuild.
This is our version of that ever popular hymn, Abide With Me. We'll hear more about the history of this famous hymn later in the show, but this is Liz Kelly on vocals for Abide With Me.